I always grew up around water. I love anything having to do with water. I graduated from kayaking to stand-up paddleboarding. It's alone time. As a teacher, you spend a lot of your time interacting and talking and dealing with everybody's emotions, so time on the water is precious. I played college basketball, and for about a decade after that, continued to play basketball. So my right ankle developed a lot of difficulties with just basic movement. Paddleboarding got to the point where I couldn't load and unload my board. I had to eventually kind of give that up. I was always in a tremendous amount of pain, and I found I was making choices to not do things I like to do at my job because I was trying to avoid being in so much pain. To be a teacher, you have to be able to move around the classroom constantly. I found myself dreading movement. I started seeing a podiatrist not affiliated with MedStar, and eventually we ended up deciding on getting ankle fusion surgery. That surgery was not successful. After my first surgery was unsuccessful, and I had about a 6-month recovery process. The main goal in my mind was to get my ankle right so I could regain a quality of life that I wanted. That led me to Dr. Jake Wisbeck. He laid out all the options I had. One of the options was to have the same surgery again. It can be very discouraging when you have one surgery that goes wrong because you feel like there's no way I can go through all this again, having people drive you around or being on one leg for months and months at a time, losing all your independence. But I could say without a shadow of a doubt, at this point, it is so worth it to go through the revision surgery with someone who's competent and capable and can walk you through it. I wouldn't change a thing. I had my first operation with someone other than MedStar, and then I had my second operation through MedStar. So that's a unique thing where you compare everything. You compare your hospital stay, you compare the nurses that you worked with, your doctors, the people who work in the office, when you go to see on your follow-up visits. That was very eye-opening for me. One of the main differences was just the skill level of Dr. Wisbeck. He was able to perform the surgery in a shorter amount of time. My recovery time in the hospital was shortened by 60%, and that made a big difference. It's not just the surgery, it's the recovery aspects over time that really cause a lot of anxiety in a patient. You worry about every little small thing, and you worry about whether you're recovering or whether it's not working. And to have a doctor who you feel confident in that can answer those questions honestly makes a huge difference. So when you choose to have the surgery and it's successful and you're dealing with a really good doctor and a good system like MedStar, it gives you back a lot of the things that you lost. Some of the things you weren't even sure, you don't even remember giving up. Be able to get back on my paddleboard, which is a great joy to me, being out on the water. Just small things like that I've been able to reintroduce into my life. The board's like 30, 40 pounds, so you gotta be able to carry it over, terrain that are in parks. That was something I couldn't do prior to my surgery. Once you're in the water, you stand up. You have to have faith that you can stand up on both feet, push off on both ankles. The board itself is moving. You sort of press down through your heels to give yourself balance. Just to be able to do those things without too much difficulty is a joy for me. I wouldn't hesitate to recommend someone in my situation to go to MedStar. In a way, it kind of changed my life from where I was headed, 180 in a completely different direction.